Okay, good morning everyone! So, my name's Sugi Yamagawa, and today on VTubing my slow life hobbies in my 30s, we're gonna be making cheesy potatoes with the Dutch oven. So, it'd be pretty fun. Could be a pretty fun morning. So, I've already got the fire going. I actually, so since we're gonna be using the Dutch oven today, I actually have a few pieces of some oak firewood left lying around. You can tell it's oak because oak has these really large ray cells that run perpendicular to the growth rings. So I've got a couple pieces of oak in there to give us some really good coals, because we're gonna need some good coals for this stream. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna do things the traditional way, I suppose, and we're gonna get started with some tea. I actually found some good green tea with ginger, and I am a huge fan of tea with ginger. Well, green tea with ginger. Like, way back, I went to like a fair trade store, and I was looking for, I wanted to, like, you know, support people in like other countries or something, and I wanted to buy something. So I ended up buying like this really cool like bag that had tea in it, and it was green tea with ginger, and it was phenomenal. And I've been a fan of green tea with ginger ever since. Okay. Sorry for the momentary distraction. Seems like some of the smoke was actually coming from beneath my thing, my little like work area. So, I need to grab safety gloves, because the cast iron tea kettle is not only very warm, but also very hot. Woo! Yep. Woo, hot water. Let's do that much. And there we go. So, because of usually how warm the water is, I will always like be willing to cut it with like a little bit of cooler water that I have set aside. So it's steaming a pretty good bit. I'm gonna let it heat up the cup, and we'll go from there. So we're gonna be making cheesy potatoes. So, and what's real nice, this is literally like a 4-step operation. It is a 4-step operation. But I am gonna be doing and I'm gonna be following the recipe for the most part, but I am gonna make an exception to one ingredient in this recipe. And that exception is, the recipe calls for cream of chicken soup. I'm not a chicken anything guy. I don't like chicken. So I'm going to be making kind of I'm going to actually make up some beef broth, and then I'm going to add a little bit of flour to it, and then I'm just going to use that as a substitute for the cream of chicken soup. So that has definitely gotten very sufficiently warm. And we're going to a little bit of water to that, trying to get it to a much better temperature. So, as you can see, I have a small stainless steel metal bowl over there. That is for the butter. So, step 1 today is going to work on getting some butter melted. And so this is actually a recipe my Kroger sent me, and it's like, hey, use all these like private selection ingredients. Like, I am going to be using private selection butter. But the funny thing is, one of the reasons why I'm actually doing this recipe for today is I have some panko breadcrumbs left over that I originally bought these for the black bean burgers, which those were amazing. I definitely want to try making those again sometime. But I have a fair amount of this stuff left over, and I was like looking for another recipe to use it up, and then this cheesy potato recipe literally showed up in the mail, and I was like, sure, that sounds great. Let's do that. So, I need to put the glove on because I don't know how warm this is going to be. Okay, it's not like super warm. Okay. I want it to be warm. I don't want it to be like hot. Hot is bad. Warm is good. Open up. Oh boy. Getting my fair share of smoke inhalation this morning. But hey. I've had really good weekend so far, and I really hope the momentum continues. So, we will see. I'm optimistic, though. Very optimistic about that. I'm going to cut this butter up into small slices versus just throwing, like, the whole brick in there. Because if I throw the whole brick in there, it's going to take a lot longer to melt. But if I break it up into chunks, a lot easier to get it to melt. So, we're gonna get all this cut up. Get it up on the fire, and well, we won't have it like on the fire. I'll have it like off to the side where like the radiant heat will heat the bowl, and now did this call for one package of butter? Yep, one package. One whole package of butter. Yay! Well, at least these potatoes are definitely going to be good, because herbs and cornucopious amounts of cheese and butter, it's going to taste good. I don't know if my doctor's going to like the amount of cholesterol I'm going to consume, but hey, he doesn't have to know that. That is butter. I think it's starting to melt. And we'll set it there. Here. I want it to get warm, but not too warm. Because if I'm actually in the kitchen, I'll usually melt butter with the microwave. Because I'll just set like the microwave to like a nice low heat, and then I can melt the butter reasonably efficiently that way. Oh, the cheese is great though. It might be a little warm, but then I would just monitor that because I really don't want that to burn. But I'll try to do my best to not burn anything today. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so next step, we're going to be working on making our substitute for the cream of chicken soup. So we're still very much in like the prep work before we actually like really get into the recipe. So I need a measuring cup, L2C. Up. Well, I need to just see the cup measure line, because I need to get a cup of boiling hot water in here. Then I'll add this bouillon cube. That will create a full cup of beef broth. And I might get a little bit extra than a cup. That's fine. I'm not too worried about that. Okay. Hot water incoming. Then that's, let's see, more than sufficient. So we're good on that step. Actually have something of, I have a bit of another thing I can work on. little bit at this stage. So I could just go ahead, open up my little cube. And I'm also liking the fact that I'm actually kind of going through these bullion cubes at a reasonable rate. When I first bought this, I didn't think I was going to be going through them so quickly. I managed to use up quite a few of these doing these streams, so just going to be whisking that, trying to break it up. That's another reason why you really want to go with like some hot water. Is the hot water is going to really help dissolve the bullion. So we'll just be giving this a real nice stir for a while, because it's probably going to take me a second, but... And, oh, thank you, Breeze. Thank you, Breeze, so much for taking that awful campfire smoke away from me. Fire can get real bully with me sometimes. But, oh, smokes. We are definitely getting a really, really nice amount of heat off this fire, which is good. Granted, what I am most interested in is coals. Coals are going to be very important for today's stream. Still not have it fully dissolved. We're kind of getting... We're moving in the right direction. Moving in the right direction. Just this is going to take a little bit of time. Fully. I have like a singular small... Do I have one small piece or just a couple small pieces? Granted, I am definitely very thankful for this little metal heat shield, because my hand right now is above it, and I can really feel the heat coming off the fire pit right now. So... I think that's reasonable. That's reasonable. Oh, got a little bit of beef broth here. And since this calls for a cream of chicken soup, I want to thicken this broth up, make it a little bit more of a something. So I've got 2 tablespoons of whole wheat flour, because that's just what I have lying around. You can use white flour. I'm just going to add that in. Set that container off to the side. And then I'm going to whisk in the flour. And basically what this is going to do is going to help thicken this up. And it's going to kind of make it a bit more of a substantial, like, it's going to be more of a substantial thing. If I wanted to get real extra with this, I could. But this is supposed to be like a simple, straightforward recipe. So I'm gonna be keeping things simple. Actually, I want to give that a smell. Ooh, that was nice. It's gonna be real nice. Wait. Okay. Got my butter knife from earlier. Up. I'm just gonna give my butter a stir. Trying to melt some butter. Granted, it's melting. I actually was not expecting butter to melt. Definitely doing so. So I'm going to continue to let that do its thing. Then, for our next task, I'm actually going to... The thing is I need a little bit of room here. So I need to make some room happen. Because I need to grab the star of today's show. Here's the star. Dutch oven. which I actually haven't got a chance to use this since the lasagna stream. So, really excited to get some use out of it. So, we're gonna go ahead and hit this with a bit of olive oil, because we want to have a non-stick pan to the best of our ability. And grab a paper towel. Kind of fold it up a little bit. Then I'm going to just really try to get an even coat of the olive oil all the way around, just to kind of help us get a non-stick surface going. Do this, followed by this. Really get those sidewalls going. It should be pretty good. I'm optimistic. I'm reasonably happy with that. So, if you're actually following this recipe at home, you gotta preheat your oven. Wow, that's hot. That's hot. So yeah, this is going to be me preheating the Dutch oven, so it'll be nice and preheated. So that way, when we get our whole mix together, it'll be good. So this butter's melting. Oh, woo. That got a lot hotter. So we're just gonna keep stirring it with the butter knife now, because if the container is warm enough to be hot, they're oh gosh, that's hot. That's plenty warm enough to melt butter, but it also helps to give the butter a good stir. It also helps even out the heat, which is kind of the biggest thing with melting butter over the campfire. Is you really want to make sure you keep the heat even. Otherwise, if you don't have an even heat, you're gonna just have a really bad time. Well, that's how you burn stuff. If you don't try to keep the heat even, which I'm trying to do so. But I can see starting to thicken up. So if it's thickening up, yeah, because it's down. Back on the fire. Well, back over the fire. Alright. My fire's here. My butter's off to the side. I don't want my butter I don't want too much heat on the butter. So we got cast iron skillet preheating. Doing reasonably well. A couple of things we got going on. Go ahead, throw another piece of oak into the fire. Mostly because really need to get a lot of this stuff to burn down. Get some good coals going. Because that's going to because when we actually get all this set up, this Dutch oven is actually I'm not going to have it in the fire, I think. Oh, wait. Ooh, I'm going to have to grab a shovel later. Okay. Sorry about that. I did not anticipate. I forgot about grabbing a shovel for today. But it's a real quick, easy reach for me. So. Somewhat even, somewhat warm. Okay, butter's looking pretty good. I'll grab a glove. Take a glove for one hand, switch. I am having absolutely amazing luck. Yeah, because it's kind of congealed a bit more. But I really need to watch things right now because, well, a little warm. But the butter is melting down though. Really melting down. I think we only got probably one more warm up and then cool down set and stir session, and then the butter will be fully melted, and we can work with it in our recipe. So yeah. So we're doing really good this morning. Got really good momentum. I've had a good morning so far. I actually managed to got set up for stream at a really good time. Today took a little bit longer to get set up, but still only took like 45 minutes to get the firewood together, get all the equipment set up, all that fun stuff. So been doing really good on that. I also got a little bit more lettuce started today, and I also got a really big project taken care of yesterday that I will be talking about on my socials. Well, the project's not finished, but it's doing good. I got some really good work done. I actually got the hardest part done. So it's actually kind of all downhill from here. So I am really excited about that. But yeah. I'm also really looking forward to like having some potatoes today, because you know, potatoes are good. I'm a fan of potatoes. I mean, I've grown potatoes, and well, actually, this might be a little bit risky, but hey. There they are. There they are. There are my lovely container potatoes, happily doing their potato-y thing. And it's very warm to hold my hand. It's very warm to hold my hand up there by the camera. I feel like this camera is probably going to bite the dust one of these days, but it's also just it's not like a super expensive. Also not cheap. It's just reasonable. It's perfect. It's a perfectly reasonable camera. It does a decent job with these campfire streams, as long as it's not like nighttime. At nighttime, the color imbalancing just gets real bad. Okay, I have... It's kind of interesting because this butter, I get it like kind of melted, and then I give it a good stir, and then it starts to kind of like congeal a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, because that's not like warm to the touch at all. So I'm just gonna go ahead. We'll throw that on one more time. Give it a little bit more time. And we'll have some really good melted butter here soon. So, we are doing reasonably well with the melted butter. Let's grab ourselves a big mixing bowl. And I'm actually going to start going down the steps because, oh wow, step 1. Preheat oven to 350 degrees. Coat a 9 by 13 inch baking dish with non-stick cooking spray. Well, we used olive oil in the cast iron skillet. So, step 1, done. Step 2, large bowl. Whisk melted butter, working on it. Sour cream, cream of chicken soup. This is going to be our substitute. This is what we have here. Salt and pepper. Use spatula to fold in hash browns, followed by shredded cheese. We're going to actually be using, ooh, that's actually seeing a little bit of boiling. I don't like that. Okay. I think I'm just going to go down the ingredients. And next ingredient is going to be sour cream. Really glad I have a large mixing bowl for this, because this seems like it's going to be a lot of stuff. In the future, I might have to prepare a larger mixing bowl, I think. Because this is going to be a fair amount of stuff. The sour cream wants to participate. It does not want to participate, which is fun. That's what knives are for. Okay, there we go. I get a little bit more out of you. Keep going. And how can we get a little bit more of that sour cream? Okay, sour cream acquired. I'm gonna leave that lit. No, that's whatever's. Whatever's. Okay, let's get rid of our garbage. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the substitute for the cream of chicken soup, which is basically just beef broth with some flour. We'll just add all that in. So that will go down here. Next up, I'm gonna grab that melted butter that I've been working on for a little while. That's a good stir. Ooh, yeah, look at that. That is some melted butter right there. Hell yeah. And in goes the melted butter. Okay. So that's melted butter. So we got 3 ingredients in here. Let me check my recipe. So we've got the sour cream, cream of chicken soup, melted butter, and salt and pepper. Oh, let's hit this with some reasonably good amount of pepper. I'm not going to worry too much about putting a lot of salt into this because the butter has salt, the cheese is going to have some salt. We're just going to add a little bit of extra salt. Doesn't have to be anything super egregious or anything. Okay. Salt. I'm going to give this a good whisk. But I'm going to just start off slow. Start off nice and slow. We're going to be giving this a good stir, and once I feel like everything has reasonably combined well, we'll move forward. Tea. Tea is love. Tea is life. Oh, it looks like that butter's really starting to combine with the sour cream. Just keep going and keep giving this a little bit more of a whisking. Real thick. The butter's like just hanging out on top. And I think that's kind of like the reason why you're supposed to, because originally I was thinking about skipping the chicken soup. But as you can see, I really think the soup really helps raise the viscosity of everything because of how thick that the sour cream can be. But yeah, that's looking well combined together. And so that well combined, we can actually hash brown time, guys. It's hash brown time. I hope these are reasonably unfrozen. They feel reasonably unfrozen. So we'll be using some shredded mashed potatoes. Well, shredded hash browns. So we'll crack this bad boy open. Ooh. Cool. Ooh. Oh, this is a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff. And I think I need to abandon my spatula. Okay. Little bit of, and my mixing bowl is just large enough. Oh, man. Yep, this is definitely this part that, the part that calls for a spatula. I'm gonna start chopping in my, kind of like the more like frozen chunks of potato. And then for now, we're just gonna try to keep turning, folding, combining basically what we've made is a sauce mix with the shredded potatoes. I was really hoping to pick up some Kroger brand shredded potatoes, but all the shredded potatoes were sold out at my Kroger. Really sad about that. Okay. So I'm thinking we're reasonably combined. We're looking good. We're looking good. Oh, and it's also, I'm not overflowing my bowl, which at one point in time I was really worried about that. I was really worried about that. So let's get some cheese. Let's get some of that good stuff. Which coincidentally, Kroger also did not have the private selection shredded cheddar cheese. I just had to get standard Kroger shredded cheese. Woo! Oh no. No. We don't do that. We do not. This is a no cheese gets left behind area. So we'll just need to use our spatula. Hold this in. Be very careful. Be very, very careful. I am definitely pushing the limits of this mixing bowl. So, and it's not like bad. This isn't bad. It's just I must exercise caution, is what I must do. So we're gonna have. Ooh man, this is gonna be amazing. How's it smell? How's it smell? Ooh, I like that. Okay, I'm gonna be a happy VTuber here in a little while. Well, a long little while. Because, yeah, there's gonna be nothing quick about what we're doing. Okay. So, my fire's kind of died down a little bit. My tea kills perfectly. I gotta do some stuff. Because I forgot about this earlier, but I have to have an area off to the side clear for me to set my Dutch oven onto. Because I can't set my Dutch oven into the fire pit, because the residual heat is going to cook way too much of the side. So we have our mix near fully and completely totally combined. We're doing really good on that. So I'm going to take this, we're going to set it to the side. Now I need to grab my cast iron. And since I don't have a dedicated hot pad for just it, I'm going to use the lid. Oh. Here we go. Here's our can. My olive oil napkin thing. And then I'm just going to go around it. Ooh. Yeah. Ah. Yep. Okay, so yeah, very warm. We definitely have a preheated oven. So, into our preheated oven, we will add our mixture. So, ooh, man, listen to that sizzle. And then I'm going to try and get a good scrape on my glass container. Make sure I get as much of this reasonable goodness as I can out of it. Look at that. Look at that, chat. Those are potatoes. Those are potatoes in the Dutch oven. So we've got one more step, and that is adding our panko breadcrumbs. So we'll get the panko in, and we can consider the cook time to have officially begun. So what I'm going to do is, and I'm honestly, since I'm trying to use up this panko, I'm gonna be very generous with my helping of it. So we have our dish in the Dutch oven. However, though, to utilize the Dutch oven, I'm gonna have to take it and set it to the side. So give me a moment here, and I'm gonna have to do some stuff around. So I'm gonna take this set to the side. Not sure if you can. We'll just adjust the view a little bit so you can kind of see it. There it is. There is our happy potatoes. Then we'll take the lid. And lid goes on. So, excuse me a moment. I have to... Whoa. Hey. My paper towels are wanting to run away on me. I gotta go grab a shovel, which is literally 5 feet away from me, but I just have to stand up and go around and get it. So, with a handy-dandy shovel acquired, I must try to put my eyes on this. So, I don't want this big piece. That big piece is too much, not broken down. What I want is this stuff. Nice crumbly stuff. And that's gonna get put on Dutch oven. You set you up there. Then we can get into this fire and we can actually grab some coals. So I'm pretty alright with the amount of coals. Granted, I don't think my fire pit's... Well, I don't think the campfire is necessarily appreciating what I'm doing to it right now. But don't worry, buddy. I'll take care of you here in a bit. So, if you have a couple of coals, leave your lid. No big deal. But you really want to make sure when you're cooking in the Dutch oven that you get a good amount of holes on the lid. I've done here. So I'm gonna open up this rebar, drop that piece back in, flip that out. Now I've got some additional. I got a fair amount of fire poking to do. Do a fair amount of fire poking, and just position things where I want it. Grab a piece of firewood, get that in there. Because I do want to breathe a little bit more life into this fire. Ugh. I've just made it very, very smoky just now with all my various shenanigans with everything. So, I am. Easy potatoes. Relatively easy, relatively straightforward. Couple step process. Get a little work area cleaned off. Store the gloves. And then let's see. I'm gonna let the stuff cook in a Dutch oven for 1/2 hour. And then I'm gonna check it again. So the cool thing with the Dutch oven is cast iron's really good at holding a lot of heat. And then with those coals on the top, the heat is gonna radiate onto the top. And we're also going to get a little bit of heat around it's going to kind of transfer a little bit of that heat to the sides. Maybe if I want to do this perfectly, I would probably prepare a slight bed of coals. I know there's a couple different ways of doing this. And I honestly don't have a whole lot of experience. I am definitely very much a household amateur when it comes to using Dutch ovens, but hey, that's the reason why I do these streams, is so that way I can get better at the things I wish to be good at. Oh. We're gonna just be chilling around the campfire because that has to. So the recipe calls for 1 hour. I don't know if I'm gonna give it the full hour, but I'll just check on it in a half hour and see how it does. If we're doing pretty good, then great. I don't have anything to worry about. I just let it do its thing, and we'll kind of go from there. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, finish this tea up, and then once I finish up my tea, I'm going to get myself another cup going, because this green with ginger, very good. Definitely a solid favorite of mine. But I'm really looking at this packet of English breakfast, and I'm really wanting to dig into that. Granted, our fire's a lot happier now, which is good. Because if I need to raid it for coals later, I'll have coals to use. Yeah, I wonder if one of these days I'm going to finally buy an infrared thermometer. Cause I'm very curious as to, like, actually how hot the Dutch oven is right now. Granted, that's the thing I really do enjoy about oak as a firewood. You get a lot of heat off. This maple I got, it's actually soft maple. It's not hard maple. It's definitely a reasonable okay. But compared to other firewood I've worked with before, oak, and I've also worked with ash, it's definitely the least impressive of the firewoods I've used so far. I'm just trying to shut my garage door a little bit more, so I try not to let too much smoke get into the house. Well, the garage. The garage is part of the house. Because if too much smoke gets into the garage, my bedroom ends up smelling like smoke. And then I'll go to bed, and then my brain's like, hey, it smells like smoke. You should wake up. And it's like, no, brain. I caused this problem myself. It's fine. The house is not burning down, brain. Calm down. Okay. Oh, wow. I got a lot of water in here still. And it's still plenty warm, too. But I am going to be a little bit more generous. Because I do have it sitting right next to the fire right now. Which I do think that helps, like, give a nice, like, bit of, like, residual heat. And to help it keep warm sort of state, but yeah. But it should be plenty warm. And if it's not, then I can always heat some more water up. It's no big deal. It is no big deal whatsoever. But man, granted, I gotta say, like, I have, like, absolutely wonderful weather for today. Like, I cannot complain. And granted, I am also getting occasional breezes. Sorry about that. Since I'm going to be, like, chilling for, like, probably nearly an hour. I say nearly an hour because we're going to check on the Dutch oven in a half hour. But I just wanted to kind of sit back in my chair a little bit more. It feels real nice. It feels real nice to sit back in the chair. kind of just like chillax, because we're kind of now into the absent-minded, just yapping portion of today's program, because I gotta let that cook for. If granted, the heat coming off that is definitely getting a really good amount of heat. Good, because that means it's gonna be cooked thoroughly, which is always a good thing to have, thoroughly cooked food. But yeah. So, the big project I worked on yesterday, kind of, to an extent, a bit, well, past what I did on stream, was that I worked on getting my hop trellis up, or at least the frame. Because historically, I've had... how do I put this? I've grown hops on my basketball goal, and I've also used conduit to kind of like create like horizontals, give me a little bit more area than just like, say, the basketball hoop or whatever. And it's worked out reasonably well in past years. I've had fairly good hop harvests. It's just once a hop vine reaches the top of its trellis, it goes into flower. And the thing is, different vines will grow at different rates. And because they grow at different rates, I have a slight issue with making sure all my hops flower at the same time, because I want to do all the harvesting at once. So that way, I'm not having to like process hops every 2 weeks. I'd rather just like bring the whole harvest in, process it, and be done. It's how I prefer to do it. So, I'm trying to build a hop trellis to where I get a little bit more height. Last year, I had, because of how I could put the conduit on the basketball goal, I think I ended up with like a couple levels of like height. Like I think my highest was 13 feet off the ground, and I had 12 feet off the ground. Honestly, I'd say like 12 and a half was my highest. So it was like 12 and a half, 11 feet, and then like 10 feet. My goal for this year, oh man, my goal for this year is to, I have built this wooden platform. I'm going to attach some pieces of conduit. Well, I built a wooden platform out of one 6x4 and some 4x4s, and I'm going to drill them, and I'm going to set the conduit, and then the conduit is going to be like 5 feet tall. And what that will do is, my game plan is to string up all my twine on the conduit, and I go up on my ladder. I just plop the conduit into the holes I've pre-made, pre-drilled, and then all the twine's hanging down, and then all I have to do is just like start attaching the twine to the hop binds, and then the binds will just start like going up the twine from there. So I'm hoping this works out well. This first year is going to be an experiment, and we'll see how it goes. Also, I really like this strange monstrosity that I've created, and I'm also thinking about maybe adding a bird feeder to one side, because this thing's like 10 feet off the ground. So it's far, far high enough to like keep like birds out of like my, well, it's high enough to where like the birds don't have to worry about like predators or whatever. But yeah, man, granted, I also have a really amazing cool breeze this morning, which is really nice because it's like warm fire, cool breeze. Like this is almost like fall weather. It is just that utterly delightful. It's amazing. I love it. Life's really good right now. And also, when I'm seeing these like breezes go through, it'll like kick up some of the ash, and I see it like go out across the driveway. and it just goes towards the garden, which is great because ash is a really good fertilizer. There's certain situations where you don't want to use firewood ashes for your like gardening or whatever. Usually, if you want to maintain really acidic soil for, say, like blueberries, you don't want to use ash, but you can also like mix wood ash in with your compost and let it sit for a while, and that will help like drop the alkalinity of the ashes a little bit, because wood ashes are alkaline in terms of their like pH value, with alkaline being like a base. Yeah, that water temperature is pretty alright. If I'm going to drink more tea, which I might, I'm going to have to make sure that I... What's the word for it? I gotta make sure I put my like thing back on. I gotta bring my kettle back up and keep it warm, which I'm kind of eyeing those plates right now, but I don't want to bury my plates, but I want to also, because I also really like having like the open fire here. Real nice. I like the aesthetic of it. But yeah. So overall, gardening is going pretty well. Unfortunately, I am also starting to see my greatest nemesis in the gardening realm, and that is crabgrass is starting to make its presence known in the garden. So I'm gonna have to be very watchful of that. So that's a very unpleasant thing I'm gonna have to be dealing with over the next couple of weeks. And I still need to buy a weed torch. So I actually want to buy a weed torch just to kind of just like have it and work with it and see how it works out as far as like weed control is, because I really do not like hand pulling weeds, especially crabgrass, even though I use a lot of wood chips in my gardening. So, and thanks to all those wood chips, I don't have too bad of a, like, when it grows into the wood chips rather than actual dirt. So it does pull easy, but it's still just like an absolute unpleasant. It is very unpleasant to deal with. Crabgrass is like the worst thing ever. Actually, at one point in time, I actually made a bit of a kind of sort of a like VTuber debut presentation thing that I haven't used because I was just like, nah, it's dumb. Like, I'm a nobody, you know? And that's fun. No, I don't need to do a debut. I just need to just like have fun, cooking food, making projects, living my best slow life hobbies. All those wonderful things. I just need to be having fun doing what I'm doing. But yeah, I was gonna. So they usually have like a dislike column, and I was gonna have crabgrass by its Latin name in there because I hate that stuff. I hate that stuff immensely because once you get it somewhere, it's there. It's so incredibly difficult to get rid of. Deeply annoying. This is the bane of my gardening existence. It would be nice if I could just worry about like optimizing the various like gardening and stuff I'm doing now, but unfortunately I gotta manage crabgrass, which is the unpleasant part of gardening and growing your own food and all that stuff. Yeah, weeding is definitely the least favorite gardening task I have. But otherwise, rest of gardening is actually pretty fun. Because I've actually got my first round of lettuce is just at the point where I can actually start harvesting it. But I did visit Costco yesterday, so I have a big like bucket thing of lettuce, and I am going to be eating on that before I start harvesting lettuce. But I'm pretty sure I have at least two weeks of lettuce in my front like raised bed right now, which I actually do have to start like eating on, because I have to harvest some of that lettuce out to make room for tomatoes, because tomatoes are going to go in here soon. Probably either sometime this week or next weekend. I'm not 100% sure when I'm going to do that, because I have been... One of my big goals is to do like an actual gardening stream. I've done some themed gardening streams, kind of, sort of. Like pruning the grapevines. We've done seed sowing. I've done seed shopping even. But not actual, like, playing in the dirt gardening. I want to do that. Which, coincidentally, if I'm thinking right, this stream, I think the stream is going to be, like, my 99th. So it's really, really, really tempting to make my 100 stream the gardening stream. So I'm not... I have a slight vision for the logistics of it. It is going to be logistically nightmarish to do this stream, but I want to do it. So I'm not sure if I'll get around to it or not, but because I'm still like, do I really want to like screw around with all this stuff? Okay, my tea's halfway finished. I'm pretty sure in this absolutely amazing late spring weather, my kettle's probably cold. I need to make... Yeah. There we go. That's a good spot. Woo! I love this cast iron tea kettle so much, but goodness gracious, this thing is like heavy. It is heavy. I need to weigh it one of these days. I actually need to weigh it and figure out how much dang cast iron there is, and then also figure out how much dang water this thing fits, because this actually holds quite a bit of water. Okay, holds quite a bit of water. But yeah. Ooh, also, more stuff. If I can get my brain to boot properly. Yesterday, I ordered some stuff from Amazon because I donated blood 2 weeks ago? Yeah, it was about 2 weeks ago when I donated blood. And when you donate blood, sometimes the Red Cross gives you gift cards. Sorry, I need to take some water. So, with those gift cards, I actually bought... I got an Amazon gift card. So, a certain cool guy that I like here on YouTube, who's also a VTuber, Dad's Old Shop, he did a hand plane unboxing stream last week that I didn't catch live, but I did watch the VOD. I was like, man, this is pretty cool stuff. I kind of want to do a hand plane restoration stream. Man. I really need some water in me today. So, I ordered some rust removal and some sandpaper, like rolled sandpaper, which is basically the stuff I need to do that. So, it's ordered, so that stream probably will not happen next week, but it'll be like the week after. So I kind of like the idea of doing a hand plane restoration stream. Because I do kind of want to think about some of the logistics of that, because rust remover is not a thing that works over the course of a half hour. It works over the course of several hours, or at least like the stuff that is like not as damaging to tools. This tea kettle right here was actually my first restoration project, because when I first got this thing, there was a lot of rust on the inside. Someone did not do a good job taking care of it. Who was my grandfather. Or someone was not doing a good job taking care of it, and my grandfather bought it from that guy and just threw it up in a shop somewhere, and it's just been sitting there ever since, which was probably the more likely scenario. But this was my first actual, like, attempt, project work on doing some restoration. This thing right here that I'm using right now. So I've got some hand plans that need some TLC. So I think I'll get around to that eventually. There's also like another thing with like the logistics for the gardening stream is, gosh, let's see. I need to look at Crunchyroll right quick, because there's a show I'm watching this season, and I absolutely forget the name of the show, because I am terrible at remembering names of shows. Food for the Soul. So I'm watching Food for the Soul, and yeah. I haven't watched the newest episode, but the rice dish they made in episode 2, I really want to give that a shot. Because I do really like the idea of making recipes from shows. Granted, I don't think I'm going to tackle anything from Food Wars, because I'm not at that level of a cook just yet. I've done lots of stuff from Campfire Cooking in Another World with my absurd skill from that series, which is supposedly getting a season 2 sometime this year. And you better believe I am totally going to be doing episode comes out one week, the following week I'm totally going to be making that recipe. Or if I want to get extra ambitious and I already have like a good amount of ingredients for that dish, totally going to go ahead and just like make it immediately or something. I'm going to do a little bit of fire poking here, just because I want to get a little bit more, see if I can't get a little bit more life going into it. So yeah, definitely want to keep working on this whole making recipes from shows thing I've been doing, because hey, what better way for anime to influence you than to inspire you to actually expand your cooking repertoire? So I mean, granted, a big reason why I actually do these like Campfire cooking streams is because I really do like the idea of expanding my cooking repertoire. Whoa. Something hard fell. Okay. So that's a big thing that I try to do with like what I do here today. And yeah, also my neighbors have got a lawnmower going, and that's very distracting to me. Granted, they also have a reasonably small yard, so they shouldn't be mowing for too long. Hopefully, it won't last too much longer, and I won't be distracted by that anymore. Granted, I always get a little nervous when I know that my neighbors are like up and about and doing stuff, especially when I'm streaming, because it's like, oh man, what if my neighbors catch me being cringe? And it's like, you know what? Who cares if they catch me being cringe? I'm having fun. And I'm gonna continue to have fun. So we're doing pretty good. It's actually been it's been a half hour since we put our cheesy potatoes in the Dutch oven. So I'm honestly gonna just let them cook for a little bit longer, because I feel like I got a good yap cadence going, and I want to maintain that for as long as I have it. Also, I'm getting kind of low on my English breakfast tea, and then after the English breakfast tea, I'll get me a cup of green tea going, so it should be getting pretty nice and warm. Ooh, yeah! Nice and steamy. Good old hot water. That water's actually probably hot enough for tea, so, especially green tea. So let's go ahead and pull this off. Because I don't want... that was a little bit more awkward than what I was wanting. But hey, I am definitely an awkward duck. But I do want to, when we get to the review portion of just checking on the cheesy potatoes, I want to make sure I have good access to coals. Woo! She. The joys of being probably the only VTuber who worries about getting, well, the only one who has to worry about ash accumulating on his equipment. Ash and wood dust. Cornucopious amounts of those. I was actually kicking up quite a bit of wood dust earlier. That was all remaining from yesterday's stream. So I'm gonna park my water bottle down off to the side, because this tea's almost done. And I think what's gonna happen is I'm gonna we'll prepare the next cup of tea, and then after that, we're gonna take a look at what's happening inside our Dutch oven. It's always fun to just yeet the tea bags out into the yard, where they're just gonna break down and become part of the soil. Sweet, sweet, wonderful soil. Will help nourish my crops, which in turn the crops will nourish me. And also just investing in the soil helps all the other life that depends on it, because insects use my dirt. My gosh, I pull some absolutely amazing sized worms out of my wood chip mulch. And all this supports a very nice, vibrant ecosystem around me. And it's cool. Really cool. It's, even though I'm still a filthy American suburbanite, I'm at least a little bit better than the average filthy American suburbanite. We'll bring this in a little bit more. I just wanted to adjust it a little bit. I didn't feel like it was having enough of a capture of my work table area. So let me get this glove on. Pour some water. Woohoo! So we'll do that much. Oh, for now, that's the tea. Oh, let's see. You know what? Let's go for broke. we're gonna go for broke. We're gonna bring the Dutch oven up here. Ooh, okay, so let's see. I think it's been 35 minutes since we've put this all in here. I'm gonna just kind of make a bit of a spot. Woo! Woo! Okay. Ooh! That's very warm. That's very warm. Look, it's looking pretty good. It definitely needs to cook for longer, though. So, I'm gonna take this up. Set back from whence it came. Because I just stirred up so much ash. I stirred up so much ash. But since those coals have been burning for a while, I'm gonna go ahead and add some fresh coals. I don't know if I want that. So we're gonna breaking up though. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? This big chunk. Park it around the sides. Park it around the sides. And let's see, can I get... Yeah, there we go. So we'll go ahead and kind of just pop off our coals here. Got a couple of coals sitting around. Got a few coals just hanging out around the sides. Go a long way towards making sure we get a good cook. So, oh no, oh no. Some of those are really smoking a bit. So please take it easy on me, please. I beg you. Oh yeah, we're doing really. It's doing really good. I mean, it just needs to cook for a while, which I think that is one thing with like a Dutch oven, is that the cook times can be a little bit longer, because it's basically a cast iron vessel out in the elements, or at least in my case, like out in my yard. So ooh, yep. Okay, so tea's a little bit warm. We will cut that with a little bit of water. Bada bang, bada boom. Our fresh piece of firewood is burning nicely. And I think we're doing really good on coals, which is good, because that means I get to save like half-ish of my oak firewood. I've still got a little bit more of this like really good oak firewood lying around, and I really want to save that for other streams where I use the Dutch oven, because the maple firewood makes okay-ish coals, but it doesn't make like super great coals. So we'll just go ahead, we'll let that cook, do its thing, and yeah. Really glad that I had some of that extra oak firewood. And at some point, don't know when, I'm going to be building another woodshed. Because I already have one EPA woodshed, I'm going to have 2 EPA woodsheds. Primarily because I already have the firewood for, well, I have the lumber, but also, more importantly, I already have the metal for another one for another woodshed. So I figured, hell's bells, might as well go ahead and make another one. Because I have it. Well, I have the material, so might as well build it. And hopefully, once I get the next one built, it'll be able to hold the remainder of the firewood I have for this maple, which I still have a little bit more to go in terms of like cutting and dicing up lumber and such. I'm close. I just need to get there. So yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. It's nearly an hour and 20 minutes into. Oh, I really need to keep track of like time for like the cooking. Which in like 19 more minutes we'll have a full hour on the cook. So I think we're at a really good spot right now. So for me to make the slight announcement that I've been drinking a lot of tea today. And this tea would like to leave me. So I'm gonna get up, hit the restroom, the little homesteader's room, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, but when I came back from the restroom, that largish piece of wood that rolled off to the side just started smoking, and it was absolutely egregiously assaulting me. It was terrible, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna throw this thing back in the fire. So it's back in the fire now, and it's burning now. So, whew, leave me alone. I end up dealing with enough smoke as is. I mean, granted, that's also just like hanging around the fire pit, especially as like as close as I am, not just like physically close, but also like my campfire setup is kind of, my fire pit setup's definitely a little close to the house, but hey, you gotta be close to the house for that good internet connection, you know? So yeah, I have to just live with the situation I'm in. I mean, granted, for the most part for today, it's been mostly out of my way. Granted, I think something about the way I got my garage door, it's causing it to come towards me. I think I may have had the garage door a little bit too open when I come back, so hopefully it dies down. And if not, we'll play with it a little bit and we'll see what we get. Because smoke is basically incomplete wood combustion products. And when you have complete combustion, you get no smoke. Which is actually kind of like how those solo stoves and some of those other like smokeless like campfire stuffs, which I have looked at the idea of potentially maybe getting one, because I am gonna have to replace this fire pit like sometime soonish, because there's definitely some pretty good sized holes at the bottom of this, and I'm gonna have to address that at some point in time. Currently, for now, it has not been a problem. But there is going to be a day, probably during one of these streams, where the bottom of this fire pit just goes poof, and I'm gonna have some fun. But I don't know if this holds for the remainder of the season, I'll be ecstatic. I'll be very happy with that, because then I'll probably replace it towards fall. Because if I can get this to last till fall, I can potentially look at picking up a fire pit during the fall sales. Because this, well, actually, would there be a resurgence in sales in fall? This fall weather is amazing weather. At some point, fire pits usually go on sale. Who knows? I kind of like keep an eye out, because I'm usually at like Lowe's and Home Depot. I'm usually at like home center stores reasonably often. Not super often, but once or twice a month, depending on like what sort of streams I want to do. And you know what? I just literally realized something. So my cinder blocks, I placed them horizontally where the holes are facing me. The reason before smoke wasn't coming up and underneath me, like through, is I have the holes set so where they communicate and there's airflow now. I also wonder if the airflow. I wonder if I could put like something that pressurizes this area a little bit, and that kind of wants to send the stuff that way. That's something I want to experiment with. Because I have experimented with. Ooh, yeah. Sorry, I have a splinter on my pinky finger, and it only hurts when I rub it the wrong way. But I was just now reminded of it. So But it would be nice if I could figure out some way to like get the smoke to go in a different direction. I have tried pressure. I have used fans to positive pressure on the garage. And the point of that was so that way air wants to leak out, so that way smoke can't go in. And I've used that to kind of like manage like the amount of smoke. Granted, right now I just have like the door mostly closed, and that has so far seemed to work pretty well, because when I stepped into the garage after hitting the little homesteader's room, it didn't really smell like smoke all that much, so I am happy about that. So, good job me, I guess. Worked out. So, all good stuff. So we've got... So it is noon my time right now, and then I've got probably a good... I got 8 minutes left on the cook, but I want to... kind of just want to let that thing do its thing for as long as I possibly can. Because the longer I let it do its thing, the better these... Well, because I'm thinking I'm cooking at a low heat, I'm not entirely sure. I used to have a thermometer, like actually like one of those like oven thermometers. I actually used that as part of my home brewing setup, but I think I got it wet in water once and it died, and I no longer have that. Which is one reason why I kind of want to entertain the idea of getting like one of those infrared cameras things. Actually, at one point, there was a phone by, and I have to say this word, Caliper, the equipment manufacturer, an actual phone they put out that had a built-in infrared camera. It was a good infrared camera. Phone was garbage. Or at least the phone didn't work with Mint Mobile, and it, I bought the phone, threw my SIM card into it, got everything set up, and then I called my sister and I was like, hey, how does it sound? And she's like, I can't really hear you. And it's like, okay, cool. Thanks for playing along with my little experiment just now. And yeah, so I just sent it back to Amazon. Which is... I think that's the only time I've returned something to Amazon. Was that phone. Because I was just like, we'll try it. Because there was there were some really mixed reviews on it. And I wasn't sure which way it was going to like go. With like the... whether or not it was going to work with my carrier or not. Because that seemed to be like kind of the crux of the reviews. Was like, it either works with your carrier and the call quality is fine, or it's just poopy garbage. In my case, it was poopy garbage. And I was like, well, I need a phone to be a phone first and foremost. Having an infrared camera is a really nice add-on. But at the end of the day, it is just it's more like nice to have gadget than it is something that's actually like genuinely useful. Having a working phone is a genuinely useful thing, and I also technically need it for my job. So with all that phone had to go back, and I've now had to get a silly Google phone that has been all right, but man, I miss my aux ports, man. I miss my aux ports. Those were the days. Aux ports were the days. Because, I mean, technically speaking, I use my phone as an MP3 player more than I use it for like phone stuff. Like I use it more for music than time spent calling people, texting people, doing social medias, anything else, playing Pokemon Go. I use my phone for listening to music more than all those other things combined. Granted, it's pretty easy to do so because it's also basically the music player for whenever I'm in the vehicle, going places or whatever. So it's funny. My phone is mostly plays music, but it also does all these other things, and that is how it primarily provides value to me as an individual. So. But yeah, that's a bit of my like rant on that, and there's other rants I can have, but I don't think I should be getting into those too much. Like, goddamn it, Google, why did you have to get rid of Google Play? That was a really good MP3 app. It was a really good music managing app. Granted, I just have like some like really generic like third party music MP3 app thing, and you know what? It's pretty alright. I don't think it was as great as Google Play, because I think I liked how Google Play handled metadata and tagging songs. I think it was a little bit more easier to create playlists on the fly. But so how I usually manage my music currently is I currently have a library of, I think, 7,700 songs or so. And I will usually listen to that on shuffle. And usually it's a reasonably good experience. It's actually been really good over the past like 2 or 3 days. Like, it's been fairly consistently playing good songs. And I'm just like, hey, I'm going to keep running this streak as long as it lasts. So, that's been really good. But I also favorite songs, and I have a favorited playlist, and that's basically like when it's like, okay, I've been getting a lot of mid-tier music with the with just the whole playlist on shuffle, so we'll just throw the favorites on and just jam from there. So, oh, hey look, catkin. It's catkin. That's actually the male part of a tree flower, which is judging by how this looks, this is probably from some oak tree around here. Which there is a really large oak tree in one of my neighbor's yards. Which is probably the tree it's from, because the tree closest to me is, well, the big tree that's like really close to me is a red maple. I watch very judiciously, because if the health of that tree somehow gets compromised in any significant way whatsoever, I am going to go to my neighbor, and I'm going to have a conversation with him about getting that tree cut down. Which I'm going to be willing to pay for it, but I do want to like get his permission for like the tree guys to use his driveway. Because if they could use my driveway and his driveway, they will have a really easy time with doing the job. Which, generally speaking, whenever I have like contractors at the house, I try to do as much as I can to make their jobs as easy as I can. So, a big example of that last year was I had an electrician come out to the house, and he ran circuits. And he ran some new circuits for me, so that way I could heat pump both my HVAC and my water heater. I got my heat pump HVAC installed actually about a year ago. Yeah, it's actually been about a year now. And it's been pretty good. And I still have yet to get a heat pump water heater, simply because I am somewhat there's an element of optimism for the rebate programs and the Inflation Reduction Act still going through. Granted, the amount of optimism there is very small. Very small. So, but I am going to kind of try and hold out, because if those rebates do become a thing, I save like over $2,000. So, and I would really like to save that money, because I am also saving up to replace my fireplace. And because I want to replace, because it's gas burning right now, and I want to change it over to wood burning, because I'm going to have these wood sheds. I'm going to have a steady supply of firewood, because I'm splitting firewood for this. And also, if I can get a little bit more additional like BTUs, some extra heating into the house when it gets like super cold, like below 0 degrees Fahrenheit, which is generally super cold from my location on the rotation. If I can do all that, well, get that like fireplace and such, that's gonna be real. It's gonna be a real nice thing to have. It's going to be a very expensive thing to have. When I get that quote for that thing, I am fully expecting a hurt my feelings price, because the chimney liner is probably going to have to be redone, and it's going to have to be redone in stainless steel. And stainless steel is expensive, and stainless steel was expensive before this current presidential administration. And yeah, the president's not really doing a great job at keeping steel prices down right now, so I am going to have very hurt feelings when I get that quote. But those are hurt feelings for later. I have, well, not sure if I want to yammer about the intricacies of U.S. housing policy and how it is horrendously unfair to people who want to get into the market, but it's really good to those already in the market, because yeah, so every so often, I think it's every 5 years, my local municipality, they review home prices, because home assessments is the word. That's what I want. Assessments are what so basically it's like your local government being like, hey, we think your property is worth this much, and for the purposes of funding schools and the fire department, you get taxed these percentages based off how valuable your home is. Well, I found out on Friday how valuable the city thinks my home is worth right now, and my home's valuation jumped by like 40%. Which, from like a tax perspective, it's not going to like significantly hurt me to pay those additional taxes, but yeah, the amount of that jump just shows like how just like hopelessly wretched it is here in America to like just have get a home. Like starting off, just like getting a starter home. Like home prices are just like stupid. Which for me, it's like a good thing, because hey, I have more equity. But on the other hand, for people who are not yet playing this game, it makes the cost to entry in this game so much higher. And it's just like, ugh. It's like, I win, but a lot of other people lose, and I don't like that. Mostly because I'm a silly Billy who wants to believe in a somewhat equitable society. Like, creating a truly equitable society is like a horrendously difficult thing to accomplish, but I at least want to believe we can do better. We can treat our fellow people better. We can treat our people like people. Or at least that's at least something I want to like strive for personally as a human being, because guess what? If you just give absolutely no F's about anyone else, well, guess what? Everyone else is going to call you an asshole. And I don't want to be like a super asshole-ish human being. I just want to be, I mean, not like a good guy. I'm not the best of people. I mean, yes, I speed, and there's some times where traffic lights are a little pinkish in color when I go through them. Or at least that's what that's how my mom put it back in the day. But I do want to be a reasonably decent human being, because, well, I am part of a society, and one of the great benefits of society is division of labor, and thanks to division of labor, I don't have to thresh my own grain. I'm a homesteader. I grow food. I don't have to worry about growing my own grains, because growing grains is so much work. It is so much work. It is work like you wouldn't believe. And I like pizza. Pizza needs wheat. for the dough. I don't want to have to grow my own wheat. Or, and shucks, I gotta grow... Shucks, even for, like, my beer brewing and such. It takes malt. Malt is grain. Well, malt is based off grain. So, yeah, I don't want to have to worry about, like, actually having to, like, grow and provide my own grains, because that's just not going to be fun. Well, we are about 5 minutes past our 1 hour cook time. So I'm going to kill this tea off, which has been successfully killed, and then I'm going to take that lid off. Let's see. Teacup. Stay there. Thank you. Yeah. So, earlier, I put it up here when I took the lid off. I'm not doing it right now, which I'm sorry. Sorry, viewers. Sorry, chat. I am not taking this lid off up here, because when I did that, wood ash went everywhere. It went everywhere. Actually, I'm actually going to get this thing closer to me, because I think I'm going to have to, with my fire-resistant gloves, I think I'm going to have to lift up on that lid manually. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what's inside. Let's see how it's doing. Ooh. Yeah. That's hot. Very hot. Okay, so it's doing really good. I don't have as much browning on like my top crust as I would necessarily like. So I'm honestly gonna let that sit for, I think, 15 more minutes. Wait. Oh, damn it. I'll have to... Okay, so I just realized I need a serving spatula, which I don't have, but I can get, but I'll worry about that later. Not worried about that right now. Right now, we let the food cook. I've got some time to kill. You want to know the best way to kill time on the homestead? Drink a beer. Beer's the best way to kill time around here. Well, that and also just chores you actually want to do. Like, splitting firewood's fun. I truly and wholly enjoy splitting firewood. It's fun. Granted, splitting firewood with a beer is even better. I really enjoy that. Also, the best thing about this heat shield, I can leave my beer on my little work table thingy I got going on here. Doesn't warm my beer up anymore. Wonderful. Granted, the sun's starting to get pretty high in the sky, and when I go up to grab a spatula for serving, I'm going to have to pull my canopy a little bit further back, so it's just going to be like another like small thing I have to do, because, yeah, I really don't... This is also the biggest reason why I try to have these like morning streams like just last like 2-ish hours. I mean, we'll be going a little bit over 2 hours today, but because I'm not going to worry about... I'm not going to call that done until we hit like the 2 hour mark. So we'll wait till then, and then we'll check out the cheesy potatoes. But so far it looks really good. It looks really good. I'm very excited for this, because when I made the lasagna, I actually sat the Dutch oven in my fire pit, and it did cause the sides got a little too warm. Like, they got a little too much heat, even though I was like turning it like every 5 minutes to kind of like even out the heat. But I did get some burning. I'm not going to have burning with what I got going on here, but because of sour cream and some of the other ingredients I added into this, I do want to make sure I get it up to a good temperature and get a real thorough cook. And also, if this is good, I'll make it again. Granted, if I'm making it again, I'm going to use onions in it because I like onions. And it'll give it like some veg. It'll give it like a little bit of additional texture. It'll make it a little bit healthier with the addition of fiber because fiber is great for you. Everyone needs to eat more fiber. Everyone. Well, nearly everyone. It's actually my favorite reason that I consider myself an elite American. And what I mean by an elite American is I'm in the like top 10+% of a bracket of Americans based off the, because getting your daily recommended dose of fiber is something only a single-digit percentage of Americans get. I think it's like 8 or 9. But yeah, getting your daily fiber is like very important for your health. And it's definitely something that is greatly lacking in a lot of my fellow countrymen and women's diets. And it's something I try to go out of my way to like incorporate to my diet in whatever ways I can. Which is definitely a big reason why it's one of several reasons why I'm big on salads. I mean, one, salads are amazing. And hey, it's just good. Which actually reminds me, if I do the gardening stream, which is very maybe, it's a very maybe thing. It's not setting anything in stone. Because I still want to like dial in my logistics on it. Because that's like gonna be like the hardest part about doing it, is just taking care of the logistics of the thing. Because one, I'm going to be outside. Two, I'm going to be in an area of outside that's different from where I usually am. That was actually kind of sort of half the point of the grapevine pruning stream, was that was kind of like me dipping my toes into the water with doing a stream on that side of the house. Which, that was a successful test. So, successful in the sense like it actually worked out and all that good stuff. So, I am now having to deal with the reality of like, okay, I can reasonably do this. But just because I can reasonably do it doesn't mean should I. That's the current debate. But I do want to do it. It would be something really fun to do for the 100th stream on the channel. Well, actually, wait a sec. Because YouTube shows me number of videos. Granted, I think that actually includes videos I've actually done. Not just, like, the streams I've done. In which case I have three. I got three basically videos of, two are clips though. But I've got those. So I have to like take those out of the count, which kind of means my 100th will get pushed back a little bit. It'll get pushed back to the week after next. But who knows? Maybe I might just call it the 100th. I don't know. Woo! Hey, look at the mash. Now, Ashes, I really need you to go like high up into the air and scatter it out across the garden and fertilize the land. Bless the land so it can be good and fruitful. Because, hey, blackberry season's coming up. Which, actually, speaking of blackberry season, I actually have, so, last year, my blackberries did so incredibly well. I was looking at amounts of blackberries and was like, what am I going to do with all this? what am I gonna do with all these blackberries? This is like way too many blackberries for me to just like eat. Well, that's where you get into preserving blackberries. And I made the executive decision to turn my blackberries into wine. And yeah, it's been sitting in the fermenter for quite some time, and I've racked it once. And I am at the point now where I really need to think about getting it into some bottles at some point. But I've never bottled wine before, so I've got a little bit of research to do. Because I know when I like bottle beer, I add a little bit of what's called priming sugar. And that sugar is what helps feed the yeast, produces a little bit of carbon dioxide, and that's how I carbonate homebrew. I don't know if I gotta do that for the wine. Because this batch of blackberry wine is kind of like my first like foray into actually like making wine, which I've never done before. And even though I have a grapevine, I only have one grapevine. I don't have like a whole row of grapes. Depending on future considerations, I might get into growing more grapes, but I will not grow more grapes as long as I live here. Because it's going to be because I'm going to actually have to make some like dedicated trellising. And be a little bit more involved. It's just not going to be involved more logistics. It's just going to take up more space and be like more of a permanent fixture. Whereas everything I am doing here, I am fully prepared to take down, take apart, level everything to the ground, figuratively, and sell this house and move to another house. Because I don't intend to live here till the day I die. This isn't going to be that house. I am fully expecting to live here for the next 5 to 10 years. I am definitely going to be living here. I'm going to be at where I'm at, definitely for as long as my grandma's alive. The reason why I have the whole grandma alive thing is because, well, my parents are dead, my grandpas are dead, and I've got a dead grandma. So my grandma is like the last remaining of like my parents, and like while I'm not close, I'm still within a day's drive of where she lives. So I just want to keep myself available because who knows if something will happen or not. But all this yammering is about the fact that I want to live in an area. I mean, ideally, I want to live in an area where it's safe to bike to Costco. But yeah, here's a Samara from the maple tree that's like behind me. I want to live somewhere where I can reasonably bike to stuff, and I have reasonably good non-car access to things as a human being I wish to have access to. Because living where I'm at, I can bike to places, just not super safe to do so. Now, I have been an advocate for bicycle infrastructure in my location. I've talked to political leaders. I've tried to be as much as a reasonable advocate, because ideally, ultimately, almost the best case scenario is like, hey, my area finally actually gets on the whole protected bike lanes bandwagon, and I actually have some reasonably like safe access to other areas of the city and the various like stores and like restaurants and like breweries that I enjoy. And I can just like get there on a bicycle safely. It'll be great. But that does not exist yet. The amount of protected bicycle lanes in my city is deep. Like, it's not a lot. It is a very small amount, especially compared to other areas. Like gosh, that was like a big thing when I went 2 weeks ago ish. Yeah, 2 weeks ago ish. 2 to 3 weeks ago ish. when I went to Milwaukee and Chicago, oh my gosh, especially in their like downtown areas, like protected bike lanes, and not protected bike lanes with bollards, little like plastic bollards that a car can still run over. They had curbs, man. It was just like, damn it, I want this where I live. I want this nice civil infrastructure. Now, I'll happily pay more in taxes for it too. But the problem is, it's so deeply unpopular, and I feel like regardless of how much of an advocate I am, ooh, that was a really good gust of wind there. I'm not going to see that, which, one hand sucks, but on the other hand, it is what it is. So, okay, so I feel like we've had a good amount of time with letting this cook. For longer, I need to grab a spatula so I can actually get my food out of the Dutch oven. And I have a canopy that I need to adjust because the sun is really getting dangerously close to my eyeballs. So I'm going to throw on the BRB screen, and this should be pretty quick. So see you soon. Okay. Sorry for the delay, but I'm back. I have a little bit more shade, and I also have a spatula. Yippee! So, let's take a look at these cheesy potatoes. I've been cooking, I think, for about an hour and 20 minutes, maybe? Something like that. But I am also going to be taking a look. Okay, you know what? Personally, for the record, I'm going to say you guys bullied me into this. And I'm going to take the lid off up here. Even though I know for a fact that I might get a whole bunch of ashes in my face for doing this. But I can, just like having this up here. I can definitely smell it. It smells good. It smells really, 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 really good. So I'm just gonna kind of just brush away a little bit of the ash. So, reveal time. Woo! Oh, look at that! Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the, oh my gosh. This is, yep. That's the level of brownie you want. Just like a nice, like, toasted brown. Oh, it's beautiful. It is incredibly beautiful. This. And it smells great. It smells amazing. And I bet it would smell even better with onions, but I wanted to be reasonably faithful to the recipe. But, hell yeah. Cheers. Okay, so I have some really delicious food in front of me. I need to grab a plate and brush the ash off of it. Because that's the thing when you do these, when you cook around the campfire with everything, is ash gets on everything. But hey, ash is definitely firmly in the sterile category. So, I'm gonna go ahead. Let's see here. Ooh. Ooh, okay. So I wanna... Who knows? This seems a little soft. But I'm gonna take a look. I don't know. Ooh. I don't know. I reckon this is pretty cooked through. Woo! Because it's steamy. It's very steamy. Got a nice, like, golden brown crust. It might be a little bit. The internals might be a little bit undercooked, but we'll see about that. Well, I'm doubting that. Not with as hot as that plate is right. I need to move this lid. Probably should have maybe cooked it at a little bit higher of a heat. Maybe had a bit more coals around it or whatever. But I'm going to also just let that sit in the cast iron. Because, yeah, the underside of this plate is like hot. Okay, so we are almost done. But we have one final step, I think. Let me get my recipe out. Garnish with chives and serve. Refrigerate any leftovers. So I'm going to be using chives on the serving I actually have in front of me. So, chives. So, chives straight from the source. Or at least I think this is funny. I think it's funny to just be like, boom, chives. Here. Boom, bye bang. But yeah, we're gonna garnish this with some chives. Because I'm trying to remain faithful to the recipe. Because I want to be faithful to the... Because if I'm faithful to the recipe, I can figure out, okay, here's what I like about the recipe. Here's what I don't like about the recipe. Now it is time for me to improve upon the recipe. Because if I do this again, I am definitely going to be adding onion. I know I've said that tons of times on today's stream, but I am definitely going to be doing plenty of... I am definitely going to be doing plenty of onion adding because I am a huge fan of onions, and also onions are something I actually usually will put into a dish like this anyway. Like, historically for Thanksgiving, I've made a not cheesy potato. It's a mac and cheese dish. I need to do mac and cheese in it. I need to do mac and cheese in the cast iron. I need to do mac and cheese in this. Oh my god. Damn it. Was not expecting to have a stream idea during stream, but hey. Fighting. You know what? No. Part of the ambience. Gotta have like the pot of chives for the ambience. Oh man. Okay. So this is probably going to be too hot. I am fully expecting this to be too hot. So I'm just going to have it a little bit, and hopefully this doesn't burn my mouth off. Okay. Okay. Ooh, that's pretty good. So, initial, boom, chives. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes. Oh, hi, buddy. Welcome in, welcome in. But yeah, we just wrapping up. Well, I'm not wrapping up, but I've just had my first little bit of today's cheesy potatoes, and I definitely feel like I may have undercooked them a little bit. Woo! Let's go, Ashes. As long as I don't breathe them in. As long as I don't breathe them in. Go everywhere. Go everywhere. Fertilize my plants. The plants need the nutrition. Okay, so this is still really, really warm. So I'm not going to really be eating on it for a little bit. We do have an absolutely amazing light brown crust. But I think I should have probably put a couple of coals underneath the Dutch oven when I was cooking it, just to kind of get a little bit additional heat from the bottom up versus, because today I mostly cooked this dish from the top down, because I mostly just had like coals on the lid and was just cooking it from the top down. We did a cook time of almost 80 minutes. I do have it still sitting in the Dutch oven, which actually, let's see here. Give me a minute. This piece of wood is kind of awkward. There we go. Big ol' slab of maple. So we'll open this, get that going, and all that done. We're gonna let that sit up there for a little while. So while I'm enjoying this, I can get a little bit more heat on the bottom of that, kind of like get a little bit more of a thorough cook through the potatoes. Otherwise, cheese is melted. Well, like as far as like a first try goes, one, nothing's burnt. It's just my potatoes are probably a little bit undercooked. And the only reason that happened is because I'm still relatively new cooking with the Dutch oven. I'm just an inexperienced Dutch oven user, which just recently I really, really, really want to make some mac and cheese in this thing someday. I don't know when I'm going to get around to it, but at some point I'm going to get around to it. And oh no, the beer's gone. Oh well. There's replacements for that. And since I am now actually kind of at the point where I'm actually starting to kind of enjoy the meal a little bit, gotta go with the classic, the West 6 IPA. Which this batch of IPA was actually really good. Oh baby, that sounds good. Yeah. Because for this, I used panko breadcrumbs, which are typically used for like making like tempura and various other dishes. Oh man, that breeze feels amazing. Mac and cheese over fire. Yeah, man. You're really thinking my thoughts, man. Like that. Like that is very easily a way to take like the mac and cheese, the ultimate comfort dish. Well, one of the ultimate comfort dishes. There's a lot of comfort dishes out there in the world, but take it to the next level is like to do it over a fire. That was just like a random idea that popped into my head because this is very similar to the mac and cheese I make for Thanksgiving. So I was like, wait, this is like what I make at Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, it is a wonderful. Like this morning's been wonderful. I'm sure some of my neighbors aren't as happy with me right now, considering the amount of smoke that I'm generating. Even though the amount of smoke generating has went drastically up due to this piece of firewood I just dropped on here. Primarily because of the fact it's kind of starving everything of oxygen, and if I look around, I have no easy way to fan this, so we all get to suffer. Granted, I also know there's a couple neighbors of mine that do some sketchy burning. Like, I think I have a neighbor or two who burns trash. And you're not supposed to burn trash in the county, but they do it. So, okay, a little bit of a yap session. Let's take another bite. It's just being hazes. Oh. Ooh. Just a little bit of texture there. See what we get. Okay. You know what? I gotta say, this is like really solid. Because, man, I don't know how to describe this. I really don't know how, like, so, going back to the recipe, like, we've got like a whole container, a whole 16 ounces of sour cream in this, and boy, oh boy, is that sour cream all right. Definitely adds a really good flavor to this. The beef stock slight edition, I did not get as much of that flavor in any of what I've tried so far, but we'll see how it goes as we eat it. But let's see. I'm trying to think about ingredients that involve salt. So we have the cheddar cheese that involves salt. We do have quite a cornucopious amount of butter in this. We've got 8 ounces of butter in this. That's a lot of butter for one dish, but also this dish is supposed to serve 10. I'm probably gonna have some cheesy potatoes today and for the next 2 days. It'll be all right. Then so we're gonna be just kind of watching this, because if it looks like it's getting a little too heated, I'm gonna move it or something. But yeah, not really getting too much salt, which is actually a good thing, because we got salt in the butter. I made up beef stock with this stuff, beef bouillon, basically stock cubes, and these things have terrible amounts of salt. Like, 1 cube is 41%. Holy, how much butter? 8 ounces. 8 ounces, half a pound. Half a pound of butter went into this whole dish, which is a very easy way to tell that you have a good dish if you put a half pound of butter into it. Butter makes everything better. That's why they call it butter. Butter is always better. But yeah, I really like this. This is really solid. Like, granted, I've managed historically, I have not had many bad recipes. I haven't had any like really like, oh my gosh, this blew up in my face type recipes. The campfire ravioli kinda did, mostly because I was admittedly hungover during that stream, and local man hungover cooks food over a campfire pretty much turned out exactly how you expect. So I'm gonna have another bite of this stuff. Oh man, Oh, wow. Oh, that's a lot. That had a lot more richness to it. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. Man. Granted, I also really tasted the cheese on that one, so that's probably why I liked it so much. I am a man who likes his cheese. So then a stack of butter is an unstoppable dish. Yes and no. Ideally, you combine the butter with something else. Ideally, a carb. Butter plus carbs equals win. Like, think butter on a biscuit is amazing. Think, let's see, what's some other, like, honestly, butter and mac and cheese, since we were talking about mac and cheese earlier. Like, butter and mac and cheese. Amazing. Butter just really traditionally pairs with carbs very well. Any sort of carb is going to be like butter plus carb equals win. Always. Today's carb was potatoes. Butter cake. Oh. That's a cursed thought. And I'm a cringe VTuber, and you better not be giving me some cringe ideas, sir. You better not be giving me any cringe ideas, sir. Bring it. The secret is more butter. Oh, that's great. The secret's just more butter. Okay, let's have another bite. Oh my god. But yeah, this is win. This is good. Generally, I think if I could get, well, I'm trying to think if there would be some way for me to get like a little bit more of a crispiness from the potatoes. I don't think I easily can, but if I could get a little bit of extra crispiness from potatoes, this would be like amazing. I'm really watching you, buddy. I'm really watching you, because that fire kicks up too much. That's gonna get a little too hot, and it might burn a little bit. Don't want it to burn a little bit. This is good. This is really good stuff. Don't like being a person who wastes ingredients. But yeah, I gotta say, very solid. Trying to think of like a rating. Give it. I think feel like 7 out of 10. Solid 7 out of 10 here. Good. Got a good bit of flavor. Personally, I can kind of taste the cheese. Just a reasonably good cheese, too. Because I used a sharp cheddar cheese for this. But I don't taste too much of the sharp cheddariness, so I think if I was going to make this again, I would probably be willing to incorporate a little bit more cheese to it. Add cheese, add onions. Be amazing. Or maybe even make a thicker bouillon stock. Because I'm not getting a lot of flavor from that. Which is honestly fine. It's fine. It's not a bad thing if you can't like pick out all the flavors in your dish. But if they shine through and also complement the other flavors, then you're looking at like 10 out of 10 territory. Right now I would solidly consider this 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Well, no. 7 out of 10. Add onions, 8 out of 10. Also, if I had the option, which, granted, I don't know if I recently mentioned this, but biggest reason why we're cooking this is because I have this bag of breadcrumbs that I want to use up. And I would like it if the breadcrumbs had a bit more of a crunch to them, a bit more of a texture. So if I replace the panko with like crushed croutons, add some onions, oh man, we'll easily be 8 out of 10. Maybe pushing into that 9 out of 10 as I get a little bit more experience with the Dutch oven. I definitely think this dish can go further, but I'm really happy with the result I got today. I'm really happy with the result. I mean, any first shot at a recipe, and you try it, and it's like, okay, this is good. This is good. Is it the best? Maybe not, but it's good. And then next time you make it a bit more to your liking. Which, oh my gosh, this is good. This is truly good. Oh man, very happy with this dish I made today. Oh, ooh, birds. Yeah. And also, speaking of birds, I feel like at some point we might do a bird watching stream at some point, but it's gonna be a little while. I have to make a feeder first, so man. Sometimes I worry about running out of ideas, but right now that is definitely not a problem. Wow. Beer's good. Food's good. Birds be doing birds. Okay. So I'm gonna have a couple more bites. Make sure that my opinion remains unchanged. Yep, this is good stuff. Woohoo! Man. Damn, neighbors fired up their darn lawnmower again. But hey, you know what? At least I'm not having to worry about filtering out lawnmower noises from the mic. Oh man, that would be really fun to do. But I don't have to worry about doing that. Okay, so let's see. Does it continue to hold up? Under scrutiny. And yeah, the answer is it does. It does indeed. Oh my gosh. Oh, really solid dish today. Got to use up some ingredients that I've been meaning to use up. Mostly the panko breadcrumbs. I have another handy dandy. Ooh, wait. Let's try this. Okay. I'll see later if the recipe is actually legible. And if it is, I will make, so am I going live tweet? I'm pretty sure the recipe was reasonably legible. Yeah, yeah, you could definitely read it. Okay, cool. Sweet. So, definitely legible, which is good. Good. I definitely... Because one thing I do want to get a little bit better about is kind of sharing the recipes, because I feel like if I do a better job sharing the recipes, people will be a little bit more interested in what I do. Especially if they can be like, okay, cool. Here's how, like, this guy made it. Here's how he handled these ingredients, this process, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Here's his feedback and methods for improvement, for making it better the next time. So, that's definitely a direction I want to take some of the stuff I've been doing into the future. So, I have prepared food. I think this has spent enough extra time cooking. I'm going to remove it off at some point, but yeah. So, I'm going to go ahead and call stream for today. I want to thank you all very much for tuning in. And yeah, like today was a good day. Absolutely bloody fantastic weather for it, though. Wonderful weather. Prep went really well. There was kind of a... Not really the worst hiccups in the world, because I just didn't have a serving instrument, and I didn't have something to scoop coals. So, not really like the worst of the world, but yeah. Today was a good day. And I hope it's a good day for all the rest of you out there in the world. And bye to you, good guy Travis. But yeah. So, before I dig into all this food, I hope all of you out there have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, night, whatever it is, wherever you're at. And I'm Suki Yamagawa, and I'll see you all in the next one. Okay, bye-bye.